Hi. By 2040, 1 billion people are going probably to lose their job. So all the people that you see today that are having jobs, most of them, maybe 60, 70 or 80%, will lose their jobs. Their professions will be replaced by technology. What are we going to do about it? Let's explore more. So let's look backward. 100 years ago, we all learned professions that belong to the manufacturing world. Well, not all of us, some of us, used to do other things, like in services. But in this case, we studied manufacturing. We used to build things. There were people sitting and fixing and building televisions or radios. There were people building, machines, people building with their hands. And what happened? It all was taken and still being taken. So all manufacturing is being done now by automation and by robots who can do these professions that we studied and had experience of years. And our experience were transferred to the robots. They have software, they have machinery, and they can produce. So all this automotive industry lost into automation. And the food industry is being done mostly by automation. And the electronic consumer goods is being done by automation. These people have already lost their jobs. And now, over the next 10 years, all the rest of them will lose their jobs. And are they ready for the change and for future professions? What are the future professions if they're not manufacturing? Let's continue. So if we want to understand how this technology world is being divided, there are three components. Manufacturing is one of them. Services is the second one. Management is the last one. All the three elements are combined into something that is telling us that in the future, 1 billion of us will lose jobs. So what does it mean connecting manufacturing, production lines, and AI? Well, AI is managing data, and AI can make simple decisions. When you connect them together, they can give the ability to the machine to service us. Let's take the automotive industry. You take a car. You study the behavior of human driving. After you studied that thing, you connect it to what we call artificial intelligence. That is connected to what was manufactured, which we call a car. These two are combined, the AI, and the production of a car. Now the car, because it has some deep learning abilities to study from us how to drive, the car can drive itself. And now we are being replaced. We will not drive anymore, maybe for fun, and there will not be taxi drivers, and there will not be any bus drivers, not even pilots, because this automotive industry is being automated by the combination of machine and AI together. So the service of driving is being taken from us. Therefore, we can see more services that will be taken from us. We have a lot of production today and innovation of robot chefs. These are chefs that can cook instead of the chefs. Some of them can even do it on the level of 2 Michelin stars. And what we know, that the profession of being a chef or a cook is now being erased from the world. Of course, there will be some of them out there being able to do it. So in the restaurants, you will not see chefs within 10 years, maybe in some of them. You will not see even mommy or daddy cooking at home. We already have those home chefs that can cook for the child anything he wants. So when we understand that this service is being taken, cooking, driving a truck, these are services that are not here anymore. Now, if we want to have customer service, we used to use human sources to answer the telephone. But now, with AI and some deep learning, we have chatbots. These are bots that can talk to you. I use some of them, and by the way, they are my best friends. So when you look at it, you can see that even that part was taken from us. And if you want to know more, then simple AI forms and some automation can be in the form of an app that will help you to lose weight, like the one I've used. Now imagine that if I use it and there are 25 million people using an app to lose weight, and imagine that a dietitian has 25 clients, and there are 25 million users on the app, it means that 1 million dietitians lost their jobs. We need to understand that services with AI and automation will take our positions too. So what will happen next? So now we understand manufacturing is about automation and robotics. We understand that services is about automation and AI. But there are other services coming up now that AI by itself can do, because AI can aggregate data. AI can follow every habit you have and every action you take. And what is happening? That AI is basically a management system. Are you a manager? Be careful. See, for now, AI will help you to manage. Over time, it might take from you your job. And the reason is because we measure our employees, isn't it? I mean, if you don't measure, how do you know what he's doing? So what do you measure? You measure the habits of your employee. Of course, you can give him some training and optimize his abilities. But you measure his outcomes. You measure his management skills. You measure everything, and you measure productivity. Humans are productive at a certain level. So we as managers, we are trying to figure out if the employee is productive enough before we will dismiss him from his job. Of course, we can train him up to the limits of his abilities and talents. However, even today, we can see the beginning of AI taking the jobs of managers. And if you watch what Amazon is already doing, measuring their low-level employees today, and look and analyze their productivity level, and the AI is firing those who do not excel in the ability to manage their production. So you see, we measure everything. Hey, we even measure our relationship. We measure even our kids to see how they're doing well at school or not. And we're trying to manage it. Now in this digital world, when all the data is getting into your phone and into your computer and into data centers, you can manage almost everything, and management will be taken from humans. And the question is, what is really left for us after manufacturing is being taken by automation, and after AI and automation is taking our professions of services? And now if it takes our management capabilities, what are we going to do? Is there a solution? We'll see. So now we are looking forward to understand. Population is growing. And by 2030 or 40, we will be around 9 billion people on Earth. Resources are declining. Not enough resources for all of us. Of course, yes, we can go to the outer space and look for some resources, but not to all of them. I mean, are you going to bring some cucumbers from space? No. But we have to look for new resources. And when the resources are not there, there's something else we do. We innovate solutions. So the more people you have on Earth, 9 billion, and within 50 years, 10 billion people, and not enough resources. If you cannot innovate solutions to feed all of them and to take care of them of all their needs, then it's a catastrophic element of human society. Therefore, it's all about innovation now. We need innovation to be able to produce more from what we have. Kind of imagine today we can grow tomatoes. It takes maybe a couple of weeks to have 20 tomatoes, okay, being grown. When we talk about innovation, we talk about how to have, instead of 20 tomatoes being grown, what about having 200 tomatoes being grown in the desert with 1 drop of water? Why? Because water is a resource we don't have. So we need some kind of research and development to be done to figure out how you can grow more tomatoes to feed more people with less resources. Because we know today how much water is needed for those tomatoes. And now, in the future, we will need to produce more with less. And therefore, we will need to innovate new solutions. And there will be probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not of millions, new solutions on the micro level that we'll have to create in order to be able to produce food and other resources based on what we have to human society and to the grown society of 10 billion or 11 billion people. So we understand that we need endless innovations. But who will create them? Basically, what we need is people who are innovators. And we need to build the innovator's mind, implement it into the young children of today at a very, 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 very small age. What is research and development? Do we study research and development in school? Not really. In schools, we read and we give the answers, and the questions are being created by the teachers. However, to be a researcher, you need to know how to ask the right questions and then search for the data and the information. So we need people who are capable in research and development. My belief is that most jobs will be in research and development. It could be scientific research and some kind of technological development, or maybe other developments. But this is something we need to know. The innovators of the future have a mind of an innovator, the mind of a research and development human. This is crucial to understand because we have to prepare them today to become a researcher or a developer. It takes years to develop. So we have to start now before it's too late. So what do we see in most schools today in the world? Oh, we teach reading and writing, which is essential. However, we need to understand that AI can read 50,000 pages per minute. Have you seen a child that can read 50,000 pages per minute and even have a comprehension abilities of this number? Not really. Yes, it's still important. You cannot be a researcher or a developer without understanding reading and writing and some other skills. But these skills are not enough. Yes, we are trying to teach math. We are successful from time to time, most of the time, not really. And the reason is very simple. The brain. The brain does not want to study math until the age of 11. Math is abstract, and kids love to play with their imagination, which is kind of the opposite of abstract. So we teach in schools history because we say, well, if you understand your history, there is some meaning in your life. However, there's a lot of meaning of teaching futurism. Do you see futurism classes at your school? Isn't it like that we cannot live in the past, but we can really live, hopefully, fine, in the future? So how come you don't see futurism classes 4 hours per week? Is it possible to study futurism? Yes, of course you can, because you can follow trends of change. You can follow evolution, and you can today understand even better than ever how the world will look in the next 5, 10 or 20 years. So, mathematics is good. History is not bad. I mean, it's important, but it's less important sometimes than understanding futurism or learning about imaginative mathematics, which is the basic for development. We'll see over time that if we will be able to teach the kids research and development and futurism, this will enable them to really understand where they're going to and what elements they need to learn in their skills to be ready for this exciting, total exciting future. Now we'll go and explore that. So what are the current solutions that we see out there? Well, there's STEM, S-T-E-M education. Basically, STEM education is a very good solution, and it's an interdisciplinary approach to learning, where rigorous academic concepts are coupled with real-world lessons. As students apply science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the context that make connections between school, community, work, and the global enterprise, enabling the development of STEM literacy and with it the ability to compete in the new economy. Quite a good solution, and I love to see how it will be evolved. There's another solution which is kind of connected to STEM. It's being called project-based learning. Project-based learning is basically a teaching methodology which students gain knowledge and skills by working for an extended period of time to investigate what we call research and to respond to an authentic, engaging, and complex question, problem, challenge, and to develop solutions. It's good, but not enough. Those are targeted approaches, and we need a more systemic approach and better preparation of children to STEM and project-based learning and to Mathematica by Wolfram. We need to prepare them in order to feel and understand the world needs. We need a systemic approach. And our systemic approach is STAGES. STAGES enables children from a very young age to develop their mathematical minds and awaken in them a love of innovation through the skills of research and development and through the focus on arts, STEM, ICT, which is information and communication technologies, and economics. The children learn to become passionate for sciences, mathematics, technology, economics, and business. So now when we understand that there's a possibility of 1 billion people losing their jobs, and we understand that maybe 1 billion kids will not be prepared for 2030 or 40, what we see is 2 billion people out of the workforce. And what we can understand from it is really crucial. Those people will not have buying power. You see, no job, no money. No job, no meaning. No job means a lot of problems. Social problems, psychological problems. But no job, first of all, is financial. When 2 billion people cannot have a job out there, it means they don't have the buying power. They don't have cash to buy things. The moment they don't have, the economy will totally change or collapse. And the moment this happens, the social structures will totally change and we will see a different world that can even perceive now in our world imagination. It will be different. I don't know if it will be that bad or not, because it depends on the innovators who create the solutions for 2040. But if 1 billion people will lose jobs and will not find jobs in new professions, they are doomed. You see, if the taxi driver will not be able to work in research and development in some way, then he will not have a buying power. If his child goes to a school in an area where they don't teach futurism and research and development, his child will not have a job. What will happen to cities? Are we going to see 600 cities or 6,000 cities going on the decline mode, economically decline? And what is the meaning for the economical structure, the economical system, and human behavior? What will happen to the world? This is something we really need to understand. The moment we understand, we know what to do. But if we will keep our eyes closed, say, well, I still have a job, don't worry. School is quite good, it's not the best, but hopefully my child will find some kind of a job. What do you mean, what some kind of a job? What will be the some kind of a job there? You cannot wait. It's not a lottery now. Because in lottery, most people lose. It's about knowledge, understanding, seeing the trends, see where the world is going, and to prepare yourself now, today, not tomorrow, to know exactly how am I going to prepare myself for a new job in the market, new abilities, high-level abilities. Research and development needs more developed brain. So children will be able to support themselves, and us being able to support our children. So what is the need? Acceleration. Change acceleration of adaptive new skill. How we can adapt the new skills. How can the taxi driver become an innovator? How can be your child an innovator? How we can go into research and development in a simple way, step by step, and move fast. We need to accelerate change, because if you look at the world, technology is running fast, science is running fast, everything is running fast, and we are trying to run after the change. Every day there's a new technology out there, we're trying to figure out how it works. So we're running after. We need to be able to run faster than technology, science, and the world advancements. Like Elon Musk. He is running faster than technology. He's inventing those technology. I mean, it's not him, it's him and his team. So we need to understand. We need to accelerate how our brain works, what we know, how to find the right information, how to make good use of the information, and we need to learn to run faster. We need to learn to run faster in our mental development, in our brain development, and become leaders and not followers. So because everything is being accelerated, let's look at some of these main elements of accelerated change. Let's look at sciences. Sciences became something a little different. And the reason is because we were able to integrate two worlds together, science and technology. In the past, we studied biology. We made research in biology. Now, when you integrate biology and technology, we call it biotech. Hey, 20 years ago, nobody knew this word, biotech. We understood how to make research and learn and understand finance. But then we integrated finance and technology, and we call it fintech. So this integrative research is based on multidisciplinary researchers. So if we take education for this sake, we had education and we have technology. And now there's an emerging new field, ed tech, which might take the positions of teachers or might work beautifully with teachers. And might work that the fintech will work with financiers in the right way, with economists. And all these biologists, when they will integrate themselves and work with technologists, it means that we'll have science, technology, researchers, developers, and the integrative minds to create the best new solutions. Look at the evolution. It will teach you a lot of what's happening. And what about the accelerated evolution of technology itself? 100 years ago, there were about maybe 10 or 20 innovations per year. So we invented the refrigerator, or the washing machine, or the telephone. Not so much, but with great impact. But do you know what's happening today in innovation? Do you search every morning to see new innovations in the world? Because from 10 or 20 innovations per year, 100 years ago, we are now at the number of 100 new innovations per day. And each innovation takes jobs of people. And each innovation needs research and development. So we know that there is accelerated evolution. Technology, we know that we have it in science, but we have it also in the evolution of human needs. Yes, we knew about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we need a shelter, and we need food, we need friendship. It's still there. But the innovations that came up to the market became needs of today, based on the same concepts. So, did we know that there will be such a demand for Instagram? Did we know that the communication skills we're going to use will be on Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp? Did we know that we're going to write messages to our kids instead of talking to them face to face? So you see, there are a lot of new needs when it comes to human development. We have more kids with disorders, from Asperger's syndromes to ADHD, and we have more kids that have communication skills lack of some kind. So we need solutions for all of those. You see, every time we invent a solution or a product or a service, it creates also a lot of problems. Every solution in the world that I know of created more problems, and still we need that solution. So when a girl or a boy are using Instagram to make selfie all day long, basically they are capable of sending a message with a picture. And instead of using words to communicate, they send a picture and they get a lot of likes. And because they use filters, they even look different than what they're in reality. And sometimes we don't know how real those people are. And the moment we use a word which worth 1,000 words, we basically don't use 1,000 words, and therefore we don't use thinking to communicate. Click, send, click, send. So we know how to click and we know how to send. We know how to manipulate pictures, but we don't know how to communicate on a higher level, on a higher hierarchy. And which means that the IQ, based on research by Harvard, of people who use this kind of technologies is lowering over time instead of growing over time. You see, when AI will grow its IQ to the level of human or even more, it will take time. But if the machine will have more IQ than we are doomed. And if the IQ of AI is growing and the IQ of young children is declining, then it's being accelerated in some way that those kids will not be able to survive. So what are the solutions to those kids who are using send instead of developing their thinking abilities, questioning, and other things? We need to take care of it. We need to accelerate the brain development. So we had accelerated evolution of science, we had acceleration evolution of technology, and we had accelerated evolution of needs. And now we have stages. An accelerated evolution of the brain. We start from imaginative mathematics through the world of simulation into accelerated sciences programs that lead into the digital transformation to computer sciences and deep understanding of how the new economic systems work. The stages system and structure has a futuristic view, a well-defined 12K methodology. So let's start by understanding how it works. When you ask a child, what do you want to do? Homework or Xbox? Homework or play? What would be the answer? Play. Unless he was very well educated to say, I want to study. But naturally, kids learn more through play than in any other formats. That's why they want to play. They tell us, please let me play. Stages is about play and learning through play. And what we do, we want to create this natural mathematical brain. So we give the kids the ability to play, and we hide imaginative mathematics behind it. Every developer will tell you what is the need of imaginative mathematics when you write a code, and how much imaginative mathematics is needed in sciences and in research. Because the basic thing you're doing is based on one thing: pattern recognition. Pattern recognition. This is what we do. We start to see patterns and understand how things work. How the machine is working, how technology is working, how a code is working, how science is working. We need to see patterns. Then we combine them and understand the systems. So when we don't understand the system, we can make all the mistakes in the world. We need to understand those patterns in science, in arts, in economy. We need to see patterns of behavior of human, patterns in history, and patterns in basketball, and patterns in cooking, and patterns everywhere. Pattern recognition is the first thing that a child is using to learn the world around him and how it works. He does not need more knowledge. You can Google knowledge. But what he needs in the knowledge format is understanding those patterns that could be passive patterns, like art forms, static ones, and there will be active ones, like the behavior on the road when you drive a car. What kind of behavior creates reaction of what kind? If we don't understand patterns, if we don't recognize them, we are having trouble to understand the world. We have trouble to understand where the world is heading to. Pattern recognition is the first place where we start in imaginative mathematics. And the second one is pattern design. Why that? Because we want to break into parts every pattern out there in order to make an intervention in the pattern and make a change out of it. So it's like in Lego, when you take a form of a house based on Lego parts, Lego bricks. You break it into parts and you create an airplane, or you create a different house. You see, when you know how to break the parts and how they connect to each other and how they talk to each other, then you become an innovator, because it's all about Lego. New connections based on common denominators between fields can create edtech, biotech. We can see patterns in biology, patterns in technology. Find the common denominator, merge them, aggregate them, let them talk to each other to find better solutions to take care of humans. Pattern recognition and pattern design is what we do naturally, and we have to accelerate the learning of it in order to understand how to change the world and how to find better solutions. Pattern recognition, pattern design. So we say that we need to play with pattern recognition and pattern design, and for what reason? You see, the moment you understand the pattern in one field, let's say biology, and you understand some pattern of behavior, okay, in technology, and you know how to transfer ideas from biology to technology, this is what we call analogy in our games, or what we call knowledge transfer. Imagine a child is learning patterns in music, and you can see 6 combinations with 3 notes in music: do re mi, do mi re do mi, re mi do, do dum, da da dum, da ba ding, da. And imagine he now can formulate it, okay, into some formula, saying, I understand it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. And then use it in martial arts: face, shoulder, stomach, face, stomach, shoulder. We transfer knowledge from music into martial arts. So is it possible that I will teach you patterns in history of the 16th century, and you will go this afternoon to play basketball knowing something that is useful for basketball, just because you are being able to formulate some kind of context around one field and translate it to another field. In order to translate from one field to another, from music to basketball, from basketball to history, from history to cooking and to chess, you need a language that can transfer the knowledge, and the only language I know is mathematics. Or I will call it imaginative mathematics. You have to have the ability to imagine those 6 melodies in the martial art forms while you're playing the music. Imagine the brain is doing this naturally. This analogy, transfer of knowledge with one language, now it becomes something we call real-time composition. And this is the essence of everything. The moment you know how to do pattern recognition, break into parts and recompose something, which you can call pattern design, and you can make analogies from one field to another, you can start to make new connections, what we call the edtech technologies or the biotech technologies. The combination of them creates the new solutions out for the world. So when it's natural, it's being done in real time in the brain. When we see innovators, sometimes it takes them years or months to develop ideas. But good innovators, which is natural for them, they can do it even on spot. They can think, they can translate knowledge, and they can say, oh, what I've learned now from photography is really useful for education. At what format? It's not showing pictures to the kids. It's what do I know about the technique of focusing that will enable me to focus the kids on what they learn in class now. This is the essence of everything. Knowledge transfer to one language, and the most important language, mathematics, which has shaped the world totally since it was born. And we'll talk about it. So after we're talking about play as a skill that enables us to understand pattern recognition, pattern design, analogy and knowledge transfer, real-time composition, all the things around play, they need to lead somewhere else. And they lead to understanding the research world better. You see, in research, it's not like search on the internet. You are targeting yourself to research for something and making research around an element, around the concept, around the problem. So what we do in research is we need to understand how to ask the right questions in order to lead ourselves to the right data and integrate the data into what we call needs. So there are two elements. There are needs. There's a questioning system. There is a research system, the integration, and basically what we are searching for are the resources. When you find the right resources in the world, not always they will give you as a solution as there are. You have to integrate some resources, like education and technology. If you integrate the resources in the right way, you are capable of giving answers to the needs of the world as long as you really understand the needs. So needs analysis of this kind is the basic work of the researcher. And finding the resources is crucial. And the ability to do pattern recognition and pattern design can lead us to what we call development. So what do we see in the world? You see, it started maybe in Silicon Valley, Research and Development Center, Stanford, some technology companies. And everybody wants to have a Silicon Valley, right? Why is that? Because the biggest innovations of the world came from there. Facebook, Google. Let's look at this guy, Steve Jobs. See, he came from design. He was an innovator who came from design. He was able to think that you can use a telephone and without doing this, you can flip pages on a phone. You need to have a very good imagination to think about that. But this guy by himself, he couldn't invent the iPhone. He needed another Steve Wozniak. Steve Wozniak was an engineer. So when you combine imagination and engineering, oops, that's something different. These two brains are capable of thinking and design something that will be called later, an iPhone. However, those two people with this imagination are not enough. It's not enough to have just imagination and engineering abilities. You need to have research and development teams. People who know how to research, for the resources to create this kind of a phone. And they need knowledge in sciences in order to build the next technology. So when you connect the Steve Wozniak mind, the Steve Jobs mind, the guys from the research and development, from the sciences and technology, then you can create something like a huge innovation like an iPhone or any other kind of. So what do we know? The future of the world, as I see now, and we see it slowly as a trend, we see it's a path. It started with Silicon Valley, then it moved to other centers in the world. You have a huge center in Israel for research and development. Like Intel Research and Development is in Israel, Microsoft Research is in Israel.
And you see research and development in Silicon Valley. And sadly, in the past year, you see huge research and development centers in Switzerland, in England, in other places in the world. You see, more and more you can start to see research and development centers, which are becoming bigger and bigger and more of them. So we do understand that the need is for research and development and basically what we call innovation. So those innovators need the innovator's mind. They need to know naturally how to do research and development from a very young age. You have to work to go through the path of becoming a part of this research and innovation world, which probably will be there for the next 20 years, if not for more, because of the lack of resources. So we need to train the brain to become an R&D brain for the R&D centers of the future, which will be bigger, huge, and more of them. So this engineering and development needs mathematics. Research needs even mathematics. So the imaginative mathematics process is quite important for any brain who wants to become a part of those big centers of the future of research and development. We need to have an imaginative mathematical brain to be their natural mathematical brain, to be able to understand and grasp the possibilities and the opportunities are there. This is one thing which we have to focus on. The reason is very simple. If we go to that area, we'll be able to hold sciences on one hand, technology on one hand. We'll be able to manage AI, which will manage the production and the services. Our management abilities is there in research and development when we help these machines to perform better, to give better services at a lower price. So now that we understand the meaning of imaginative mathematics, we understand how it's essential for research and development. Now that we understand that it can enable us to understand automation, robotics, and AI. And we understand that sciences, all sciences, are the food for all development that need the skills of crossing between fields. Imagine crossing between biology, life sciences, or between life sciences and computer science. Computer sciences and information sciences, earth sciences, medicine and health, physics, chemistry, and more technology. You see, integration means we need to understand exactly every aspect of those sciences materials. And then we go almost to the last part of this presentation. Why economics? Economics is essential for innovation. First, because you need resources for innovation. If you want to create an innovative idea to get rid of cancer in the world, you probably will need to calculate quite well how much money will be needed for the research and development. But more than this, economics can help us to create products and services. And you know what kind of product services? Those that after they are born, we cannot understand even how we could live without them. And we need to create innovations that will be useful for millions and at affordable price. And affordable price means economics. There must be cost-benefit research and development and manufacturing system that will impact people, it will impact the financial systems, it will impact places, it will impact sciences. Of course, it will impact politics and all social sciences and social systems. Learning imaginative mathematics, technology, sciences, and economics, together with pattern recognition, pattern design, and all the rest, is basically creating the polymath innovator. You go to Wikipedia and you search for the word polymath. You see, the 2040 integrative mind is based on the mind evolution. From Babylon to the development in Egypt of algebra, through Plato, Aristotle, Leonardo, the polymath innovator, Einstein, the scientist, Tesla, the most innovative person on earth, and today we have Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak and the late Steve Jobs, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Bill Gates and others who shaped our life and our future. Thank you for listening. Please be with us. Please follow us. Please help us. Let's share this knowledge with our children and the people around us.